Hi, dear friends. Good morning. Welcome back to Akshayadari. I'm the Yuraj. Today is 13th September 2023. So, I hope you guys are learning and learning well. And I hope you guys are following the tips which I have given in the previous videos. So, before going to start today's newspaper reading, so I would request you guys to please subscribe the channel, like and comment. Please share the video if you like the video, and I can bring very informative videos in the upcoming days. So let's start today newspaper reading the Hindu, which is very important for the competitive exams. So let's start reading. Yes, guys, let's start reading the newspaper. Today newspaper. Let's see what's in the front page of the Hindu newspaper. SC refers petitions to Constitution bench. Protests continue. Naidu's plea for house arrest denied. Monu Manesar held on multiple charges. Analyzing where India stands in the G20, how it fared across socio-economic metrics. Rohit Kuldeep star as India enters the final. Nipah breaks out again in Kerala, claims two lives. Two more infected with the virus in Kozhikode. District put on high alert. Sender sends export aim for assistance. State government opens control room, steps up surveillance. Contact tracing. Retail inflation is food prices still bite. Solid waste management user free fee likely. Panel directs Karnataka to continue water release. Hari Prasad gets show cause notice from party. Three killed in a fresh violence in Manipur. 2,300 dead, many missing as splash flood hit Libya city. Examine possibility of revising timings of schools, factories to reduce traffic congestion during peak hours, says HC. Government helpline Telemanas records highest number of calls seeking assistance with sleep disturbance. International flight operations begin at KIA Terminal 2. International flight operation begins at KIA Terminal 2. New policy to levy solid waste management user fees in the offing. The user fee slabs will be decided based on the quantum of power consumption and will be added to the electricity bill. CID searches houses of Bitcoin case accused. Telemanas records highest number of calls from people seeking help with sleep disturbances. Nagar police station staff peated for performance under feedback system. 4 from Bangalore bag Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar branch. Despite ban, POP Ganesha idols continue to find buyers. Police unearthed red sandals smuggling racket. Shakti Smart Card. State government proposes a fee of 14.16, but Transport Minister wants to waive the charge. Government has fixed 10 for the application and 2 for the issuance letter, resulting in the total cost of 14.16 inclusive of GST. Beneficiaries can apply for smart cards via citizen service centers like Bangalore 1 and Gram 1 soon. Surge in use of public transport during strike by private operator unions in Bangalore. A significant number of autos, taxis, and private buses stopped operations following the strike called by the Federation of Karnataka State Private Transport Association on Monday. Police launch campaign. %35% of second PU students pass second supplementary exam. Play in HC challenges a notification allowing only authorized dealers to fix HSRP. Recruitment of probationary officers, number of vacancies 2000s. Yes, here it is IBPS, SPI, IBPO, SPPO notification has come out. The last date is 27th of this month. Application invited for faculty recruitment. Faculty Physician, Institute of Management Technology. Recruitment of armors reserved for ex-servicemen. Premises required. Allotment of regimental shop at Vasanta Conclave. Panel directs Karnataka to continue water release. It is not possible to release any more water to Tamil Nadu, says Karnataka. Deputy Chief Minister Shivkumar says the state will convey its decision to Kaveri Water Management Authority at its emergency meeting on Kaveri today. CM directs official to hold taluk level grievance meetings every week. 251 farmer suicide cases. Cabinet rank of CM's advisors, PIL plea dismissed. Opposition demands Sudhakar's resignation. Hariprasad gets a show cause notice for comments on Siddaramaiah. 90% of borrowers of MFIs utilize loans of income generating activities. Bangalore's topic takes a deepening turn for the worse. The amended Motor Vehicles Act unequivocally mandated that loud, shrill musical horns are illegal, but repeated, continuous, and unnecessary honking goes absolutely unchecked in road stretches. Survey reveals 66 trees and 59 tree species at Dorekere in Bangalore. Take a selfie break. A lot of and thought and design curation is going into the restrooms in Bangalore's pubs and restaurants as customers seek out the perfect bathroom selfie. Pahadi cousin finds a home. Bring home a piece of show business. Court rejects TDP chief's plea for house arrest, finds the central jail safe. The Andhra Pradesh government made it clear that it owed responsibility for the safety of Chandrababu Naidu. Court is satisfied with the claims made by the prosecution related to the former CM safety at the central jail at Rajam Mahendravaram. CID files case against Naidu for alleged IRR scam. Janata Dal Kerala unit meeting tomorrow. ED launches investigation into money laundering in sand mining business of Tamil Nadu government. Obituary. Central Bharat Seva Samaj. Drop the bad idea of a simultaneous elections. Let's read this editorial page written by the lawyer, Delhi-based lawyer. In recent weeks, there has been increasing discussion about the possibility of having national and state elections at the same time, popularly known as One Nation, One Election. The formation of a committee helmed by a former President of India, Ramnath Kovind, to determine how this might be implemented and what manner of constitutional changes might be required to make it a legal reality have generated further debate. The primary arguments in favor of simultaneous elections are twofold. First, that it will decrease the cost of conducting elections and of electioneering. And second, that it will free up political parties from being in permanent campaign mode and allow them to focus on governance and for that matter constructive opposition for a 5 year period. Point and counterpoint. Against this, critics have pointed out that when you crunch the numbers, the actual financial savings are relatively minuscule. Furthermore, it is a relatively recent pathology of the Indian political system that central government ministers and politicians spend a significant amount of time campaigning in state elections. If the concern, therefore, is that frequent state elections hamper governance and the business of parliament, then simultaneous elections seem a needlessly complicated answer when a simple one is available. That state elections should be primarily fought by state party units, while national politicians can get on with the task of governance. The reality, however, is that the increasingly centralized and presidential character of Indian election campaign means that this is unlikely to be a reality in the near future. Critics of simultaneous elections have raised a few other objections. First, the logistical nightmare of conducting the simultaneous elections in a country of a little over 1.4 billion people, in a context where even state elections need to take place in multiple places. The second and graver concern is the incompatibility of a rigid election timetable with some of the fundamentals of parliamentary democracy. As is well known, at the time of the independence, central and state elections were conducted simultaneously. This arrangement broke down towards the end of the 1960s because of the use of Article 356 of the Constitution, which authorizes the Union to suspend or even dismiss the state governments in a narrowly defined range of circumstances, but also and part apart from that the essential parliamentary democracy is that at all times the government must enjoy the confidence of the House, failing which it must step down and go back to the people for a fresh mandate. Consequently, it is obvious that even if legally and practically one is able to synchronize central and state elections for one cycle, this will break down the moment a government falls. To this, two solutions have been proposed, both of which tend to make the problem worse. The first is that a president's central rule, will be imposed in the state until the 5 year period is over. Needless to say, this will starkly undermine both the federalism and democracy. The second is that elections will be held in this time in that state, but the term of the new assembly will only be until the next cycle, which could be in a year, or 3 year, or 4 years. Not only does this undercut both the justifications for simultaneous elections, cost and an avoidance of a continuous campaign, but rather leads to perverse incentives. For example, how much governance will a state government will be able to do if elections are scheduled in a year? The possibility of more horse trading. The upshot of this is that there will be a strong push towards avoiding the fall of a government, even when it has lost the confidence of the House in the ordinary course of things. And as we have see, seen in India, there is an almost institutionalized remedy for this. Defections are horse trading. It is by now clear that the 10th schedule prohibition on horse trading has been rendered more or less a dead letter, as politicians have found various ways to get around this, and courts have not been successful in stopping it. Thus, as was pointed out by lawyers and parliamentarians, Kapil Sibal in an interview recently, simultaneous elections are likely to see an explosion of horse trading, where the political parties with the biggest pockets will be the biggest beneficiaries. Why these intractable issues speak to the implementation of simultaneous elections at a deeper level. There are two principled and interrelated arguments against the idea: federalism and democracy. First, let us take federalism. Over the years, it has increasingly come to be accepted that Indian federalism is not simply a matter of administrative convenience, but also a matter of principle that recognizes the legitimacy of linguistic, cultural, ethnic, and other forms of collective aspiration through the grant of statehood. In this context, there is, of course, Indian democracy at the central level, but also at the level of each state. Democracy takes its takes its own set of claims, demands, and aspirations. Simultaneous elections risk a blurring of these distinct forums and arenas of democracy, with the risk that the state level issues will be subsumed into the national. This is inevitable given the cognitive dominance of the national, as well as the fact that a national level parties frequently campaign in a national register for understandable reasons, keeping absolute power in check. A related point is that in our constitutional scheme, the federal structure is an important check upon the concentration of power buttressed by the existence of the Rajya Sabha at the central level. The federal structure, in turn, is sustained by a plurality of a democratic contest and a plurality of political outputs at the state level. Simultaneous elections, for the reasons pointed out above, the risk undermining that plurality and risk precisely the kind of concentration of power that federalism is meant to be a bulwark work against. Second, on democracy, despite the ringing words with which the preamble of the Constitution begins, the people have very little space in the Constitution, especially when it comes to exercising control over the representatives. Unlike many other constitutions where public participation in lawmaking is a guaranteed right, along with other rights such as the right to recall. In the Indian constitutional scheme, elections are the only form of public participation in the public sphere. There is a different conversation to be had about why this is not enough. But given this framework, relatively irregular and frequent elections allow for more extended public participation and debate. Simultaneous elections would shrink the scope substantially without any countervailing changes to deepen it in other domains. The report is it is clear that the administrative benefits from simultaneous elections are overstated at best and not existent at worst. However, the cost, both in the implementation and in the concept itself, are significant and create non-trivial risks when it comes to protecting and preserving the federal and democratic design of the constitution. These, therefore, there are good reasons why the idea is a bad one and how to be acted upon. This is about the one nation, one election debate, spotlighting another border point, the Rogue Channel. Let's read this this article. In early in early August this year, the Union Home Minister Amit Shah visited Harami Nala and the border observation post of the border security post in that sector in the Sar Creek area of Kutch, Gujarat, along the India-Pakistan international border. The aptly named Harami Nala, Rog or treacherous channel in English, is one of the most inhospitable places along the border. It has also been at the center of cross-border mischief and exploitation by infiltrators. Media clips showed the Home Minister visiting BOP 1170 to take stock of the situation, and he rightly overread that it is now impenetrable as a result of round the clock border vigilance. better type surveillance. According to a BSF release, the Home Minister laid the foundation stone for a mooring place at Koteshwar in Kutch and also inaugurated the newly constructed Chidiya Mood, BR Bet, Link Road, and OP Tower in the Arami Nala area. Mr. Shaw tweeted that he had inaugurated a 1.5-meter tall observation post tower equipped with high resolution pan tilt zoom cameras to bolster intelligence gathering capabilities. This will come up a BOP 1164 further up north from BOP 1170 along the vertical line of the international boundary. The great advantage of the new tower worth 3 crore and the others coming up at BOPs 116 by 116 and 1169. Apart from three more in the creek area, is that they live is they that they will provide live camera feed and continuation surveillance over the open stretch of water and mud flats surrounding Araminala. These initiatives, together worth 361.635 crore, are being rolled out in pursuit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of a secure border. The mooring place project, with an allocated budget of 257 crore, will make a huge difference by allowing berthing, repairs, and maintenance for bigger vessels, including the floating BOPs, thus bolstering the BSF's capabilities in the creek area. Raminala is a natural water body, approximately 25 kilometers along with that flows west to east from Pakistan into Kutch, just south of the Vigakot sector, flanked by vast marshy mud flats that are affected by low and high tides. About 22 odd kilometers of the channel lie on the Indian side of the vertical line of the highway between India and Pakistan, which itself is not contested. Distinctive and characteristics. The water body has some unique characteristics. The tidal waters surge from the Pakistani side, and over the years, the channel is extending further on the Indian side. On the Pakistani side lies in the China Band, just north of the Bando Doro, built with Chinese assistance to prevent the tidal waters from inundating areas on the side. On the Indian side, there is a desolate emptiness over the entire spread of the Araminala, except in the rare areas at a considerable distance from the highway, where factories that have come up to produce salt, bromide, and other chemicals carried by mineral rich waters. The Raminala is extremely rich in fishing, especially prawns. Moreover, the formidable marshy terrain through which it runs makes it impossible to approach or patrol on foot even during low tide treacherous tides. Morass and mirages are matched by scorching temperatures above 50% Celsius, 50 degrees Celsius in summer. In contrast, the Araminara has always been more accessible from the other side. Pakistani fishing boats that try and make their way up the many small creeks to surreptitiously enter the Harami Nala on the Indian side, drawn by the plentiful catch. In the past, they did so with the impunity. There was the added risk of infiltration by terrorists and drugs and arms smuggling. In the past, the entry point of the Harami Nala on the Indian side could not be approached by the BSF personnel due to a lack of infrastructure. They had to wade through deep slush to launch small patrol boats into the channel from the areas to the rear. This situation improved after a set of all-terrain vehicles were procured from Italy and stationed at border pillar 1175. The last such observation post at the time, it also helped that special scaffolding was put up on the bank of the channel in the rear area on the Indian side, where troops could bivouac up watch duties and be rotated in the ATVs. Speedboats are tethered alongside also began to make a difference in terms of preventing ingress by Pakistani fishing boats. Such measures were not foolproof until an embankment was constructed, along with a road to enable access to the very mouth of Arami Nala where it enters India. After 2014, the Narendra Modi government gave particular emphasis to border and coastal security. The first 9 years, the Ministry of Home Affairs has ramped up the creation of composite BOPs all along the border, including the Creek and Raminala area. A modern composite BOP 1175 was constructed in 2016 and BOP 1170 in 2022. The construction of embankments and road infrastructure along the vertical line of the IB have enabled the new observation post to come up between border pillars 1164 and 1153 in a manner that infiltration can be nipped by the bird at the entry points along the IB. This is the first ever visit by any Home Minister. The BSF personnel in this sector, including the commandos called Creek Crocodiles and the Forces Water Wing, have benefited from focused guidance and leadership at the highest political level. When he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat, Narendra Modi visited several BSF posts. Recalls J.S. Balla, former DIG, OPS of the BSF, on one of his visits to the run of Kutch. Mr. Modi was apprised about the drinking water problem at the BOPs in Vigakot and the surrounding areas. He ensured that piped Narmada river water was supplied to the BOPs. Let's go to the next. No filter. Prior approval requirement for initiating corruption probes is not desirable. Probe and probity. Investigating agencies must avoid being drawn into political contestation. The Bhatia Naya Sanitha needs a relook, decoding the BJP sweep in Tripura. Analyzing where India stands in the G20, the country's performance in recent decades across select socioeconomic metrics has been poor compared to its fellow G20 members. One Jawan militant killed, three injured in Rajouri encounter. A group of militants was encircled following a tip-off. Reports say army says additional troops are in place to prevent militants from escaping. Two BJP MPs in West Bengal face protest. Nipah breaks out again in Kerala, claims two lives. SC refers plea against a sedition law to a constitution bench. Sibal, appearing for the petitioners, said in the court that the new clause proposed was unfortunately worse. Cow vigilante Monus Maneswar held in Gurugram on multiple charges. Retail inflation cases put prices still bite. Families have killed mice as a police staged encounter. Farmers to approach SC against Indo-US deal on poultry. 2,300 dead, several missing in Niblia floods. 3 killed in press violence in Manipur. India to take a call on assembly force. Quota activist considers ending fast. Seeks written assurance. Why use Lotus on uniforms of parliamentary staff? Asks Congress. India to take a call on assembly force. People posed to give up insurance. Kargi. Sanatana Dharma targeted for votes. BJP. G7 saved G20 by agreeing to declaration. Germany and why? Ackerman accredits the Indian negotiators' skill joint proposal by India, Indonesia, Brazil, South Africa for breakthrough. He denies suggestion that the West compromised stand on Russia and Ukraine. South Korea keen on joining Quad, says NY Chang Jo Jae Wok. ICCR to organize Festival of Democracy on September 15th. Rajnath lays foundation stone for a Neoma airfield near the Lace in eastern Ladakh. Farmers are annadatas, protest their rights and the future, says President. Sent us to start Aishman Bhav health scheme today. Duryodhana's apprehension. July industrial output rises by 5.7% a month high gain. NTPC phase final divided of 2009 at 8.99 crore for 2020 to 23. Say buy to diesel. Gadkari wants auto firms of higher taxes. IOB unveils online allotment of safe deposit locker facility. Bank of Baroda offers loan under festive campaign. CIL commits 24,750 crore for eco-friendly coal fast transport. India's tea shipments slid in January-June. India RF buys majority stake in IV Health for 525 crore. Russian companies said to cease offering discounts on fertilizer supplies to India. UN rights chief slams Taliban. Taliban's systematic assault on freedom. Philippine Nobel winner Maria Ressa acquitted of tax evasion. Nawaz Sharif will return to Pakistan now on October 21. Shahbaz. Putin calls Trump legal cases politically motivated persecution. North Korea's Kim arrives in Russia to meet with Putin. India urges Sri Lanka government to keep its promises on the Tamil issue. Iran acknowledges detention of Swede. Republican House Speaker MC Karti orders Biden impeachment inquiry. Swiss churches mad by sexual abuse cases. Grebnev goes to the top in open section. Bristol stands Saina to move into joint lead. I think Anand is among the 5 great chess players of our time, says Grischuk. Pakistan adds Dhani and Jaman as backup for Rauf and Naseem. Murkram and Koichi shine as South Africa keeps series alive. ITIA bans Hala Alep for 4 years for doping violations. India Morocco Davis Cup draw at UPCM's residence on Friday. Kuldeep in the thick half it again as India wins the spin test. A tweak in action works wonders for Kuldeep. Revamped Buddha circuit set to host MotoGP Bharat. FIH withdraws Olympic qualifiers from Pakistan. We are looking at the future and it is not reassuring. India loses to UAE in AFC U under 23 Asian Cup qualifiers. How MotoGP is trying to avoid the pitfalls that scuppered F1, while the Indian GP lost it just 3 years, bogged as it was by a myriad of off-track issues. The inaugural Grand Prix of Bath promises a better future for motorsports in the country, what with the full backing of the Union and Uttar Pradesh governments. A canvas of racism, sexism. When I reimagined global health, an AI succeeded in creating separate images of suffering white children until black African doctors, but stumbled when the prompts were African doctors administer vaccines to poor white children and traditional African healer helping poor and sick white children, adamantly showcasing white doctors. AI for all its generative power proved incapable of avoiding the perpetuation of existing inequality and prejudice. Spotting black holes. Text and context page. The number of cases of sexual abuse in the Swiss Catholic Church 10,000. It's too bad. EU approves deal to raise renewable energy target by 2030. The number of runs by Rohit Sharma in the ODI format. The steep rise in global price of rise in the month of August. The rise in domestic air passenger traffic in the month of August. Climate phenomena and food security. We should base our adaptation plans on the idea that current trends will continue. It is possible that as warming increases, the total rainfall in parts of India may increase, but the share of extreme rain events may go up. How we respond. Know your English. How fraternity in India is different from the idea enshrined in the constitution. Fraternity does not mean anything. It glosses over social inequalities and then invokes social solidarity, such a solidarity comes riding on the hate against an imaginary other and trends to maintain social status quo. The 9 by 11 attacks were poor coordinated Islamist suicide terrorist attacks carried out against the US on September 11, 2001. It is a quick on the tragedy that took many lives. This is about the today news, guys. At least continue for 2 hours in a day to make you better in communication, English communication. So please subscribe the channel, like and comment if you like the video. Please share with your friends and see you in the upcoming videos. Have a great day. Bye bye. Take care.